Hello, everyone. MTL Sports here, episode 165. Had a pretty jam-packed weekend as far as sports go. We had game 2 of the NBA Finals. We had Money in the Bank happened this past Saturday. Also, at this very same time, we had UFC 316 over in Newark, New Jersey, not too far from here. So that was also a big event that happened. And we had some NFL news to go over. One of our favorite quarterbacks, maybe not, got signed to a team that he was attributed to for a while. So we'll go over that. Plus a couple of big name players got released. So with all that being said, guys, stay tuned. NFL. We haven't been in NFL in a while, so it's good to touch up on there. Probably the biggest NFL news this past couple days has been what seemed inevitable: Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers. 1 year, $13 million deal. I think $10 million of it is guaranteed. I think it can go up to it says right here up to $19 million. So, how do we feel, Lawrence? Is this a good? How do you feel about the signing? Number one, and number two, is Aaron Rodgers really going to put the Steelers over that playoff hump? Is he going to be the guy that gets them that playoff win that they haven't had in like 8 years? I think.
No, I think he's the one that finally gets them out of even going to the playoffs to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely could see that. I don't really. I mean, yeah, you got Mason Rudolph, but
Mason Rudolph was last on the Tennessee Titans.
He started for didn't Will Levis got hurt a couple times, and he started in place of him.
Is he back on the Steelers?
I don't think he. Yeah, they picked him up, and then they drafted Will Howard. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not really. I think more or less they'll be in the same scenario, right? Make the playoffs, or they'll scrape by and make the playoffs, maybe be that last seed, and they'll end up losing again. Yeah, they got Mason Rudolph, he's a second string, Will Howard, and Skylar Thompson. So, pretty crazy quarterback for him. None of these guys are extremely good. I mean, Will Howard had a good college year. We don't know if he's going to translate to NFL, especially as a rookie. So, if Aaron Rodgers does, if he just poops to bed, do you have any confidence in the rest of these guys on the roster? Or is Aaron Rodgers a bust?
Is Aaron Rodgers a bust? I feel like Mason Rudolph with that defense can get you a few wins and keep you kind of floating, but kind of steadying your boat to either early playoff exit, just barely scraping in, or just barely not making it in with that defense. I don't know. For me, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, it was very clear that it wasn't going to work because Aaron Rodgers was just kind of washed and old. And I don't. All that's going to happen is Aaron Rodgers is going to go there and he's just not going to agree with Tomlin, and it's just going to be a kind of like a sort of butting of heads. And what is that really going to get us? It's probably going to keep us in the same point or in the same spot. So I don't see it being a great move on their part. I honestly feel they just need to get over with the whole let's just not suck. You can suck for 1 year and get what you need to turn everything around.
Yeah, I think this is the year to do it, right? I mean, you got a couple of good prospects at the quarterback position that could, find their way into the NFL, starting with Arch Manning. I mean, if Steelers, like you said, they just suck 1 year. I know they made moves to kind of be competitive in the AFC, but if you had just sold off a couple of your pieces and just do a soft retool, you'd probably be in a better spot. I know Tomlin wants to keep his streak going, but this middle of the road crap isn't going to get you anywhere. I mean, you got to get a quarterback in this league nowadays, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers as a stopgap is the way to go. So we'll see. NFL season's a couple months away. Next up, Nick Chubb signs a 1 year deal with the Texans. His physical, I think he passed his physical, which was the condition for his signing. So now they got in the backfield, they got Joe Mixon, Damian Pierce, They got a 4th-round pick, Woody Marks. How do you feel about this signing? The Texans, I'm not too sure about the offensive line since they got rid of Tunsil, but
I
how
feel
do
like
we
this is
feel?
the Texans taking a step. I think personally taking a step back from passing this year. I think they're going to focus a lot more on the running game. And I get to this point because of all the changes they're making. They're like adding to their running game. If we know their offensive line is not going to be as good, we can hide behind a bad O line, running the ball more efficiently than we can trying to pass all the time. Yes, my shots will be there at some points, but the Texans are also trying to find that wide receiver, that number one guy for Stroud. What is it? Bell? Nico Bell. He's not going to be out. He's going to be out like almost the whole season too. Nico Collins.
Nico Collins.
So really, it's kind of a year to reset in your passing game and kind of revamp running game. And you can do that when you have a battle line.
We were both thinking of the wrong guy. I think Tank Dell is the one that's hurt. But they still got Nico and Christian Kirk. I think they signed Christian Kirk because he got cut from the Jags. So, yeah, I think you're right. They're probably going to focus on running the ball, even though the offensive line is probably the weakest link right now.
Yeah, but it's they always say it's easier to run block than it is to pass block.
This is true. Next up, my Bengals release Jermaine Pratt. He had been wanting a contract extension. Honestly, no one on this defense deserves a contract extension besides Trey. So if they don't seem too keen on giving him the money that he deserves, then you damn sure ain't getting the money you deserve. So it sucks. He led the team in tackles, I think, the past 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. I know for sure last year, but yeah, they try to trade him. I don't think any team was biting. They just, a lot of teams in the NFL just kind of wait teams out and then just get these guys for cheaper than a trade. So we get, I think, almost $6 million in cap savings. So I don't know. Maybe we take that cap savings and do some shopping, maybe for the next guy we want to talk about. But what do you think, Lawrence? From an outside perspective, how do you think this affects the Bengals?
I'm not understanding like how much money they were going to need to owe him. But like you said, though, no one on this defense was worth too much of a damn to pay hell of money to, besides Henderson, that you just, for some apparent reason, don't want to pay and would rather have someone else take, which by all means someone may or may not take it. I think you did the right move. $6 million, that's a lot of money to play with. You can get a pretty good, veteran kind of piece, like on a veteran happy minimum, because I think the veteran minimum is like what, 3 million, 3.5. Like, okay, I can give another veteran somewhere 6 million, and he'll land here and finish his career here, kind of piece. Like 6 million helps get towards the Jair Alexander. I don't know if that's who you're referring to, as we're going to talk about next, but like a Jair Alexander is now free on the market. There's going to be a lot of people that want to be at play at that. And your defense is pretty bad. So you could always use another corner.
Yeah, we could use a lot of things on the defense. If it comes to defense, I think if there's anything sort of in that premier category, I think the Bengals should at least try to make an offer. But yeah, you're exactly right. Jair is our next guy. He's officially released by the Packers. Another guy that, I guess contract dispute. Team tries to trade him. No other teams are really biting because they don't want to pay the freight and take on the contract. I think he was owed like $13 million. So pretty pricey. Then you have to extend him too. So that's a pretty pricey thing you'd have to do on terms of draft capital and, then contract wise. So how do you feel about this, Lawrence? What team do you think Jair can go and make a good impact? He's probably gonna get a decent contract. So what teams do you think out there with the cap space could use him?
I'm just gonna keep it with me. I think Carolina's gonna get him. If they're smart, they're gonna snag him. You got Jair on the same team, and then you try to revamp your defensive line by going all young from the draft. I think that's our move to like re-elevate our team. Yes, we're going to be kind of bad at linebacker. Yes, we're going to be weary up front until our young guys get going. But at least the secondary is, set in stone and solid. Like, there's got to be a piece that you build around on each side. They got an offensive side that they're building towards, and they got a defensive side they're building towards. But if you got two shutdown corners,
that was one of the teams.
no, what I'm saying is,
go
if you
ahead.
got two shutdown corners, what is someone going to do besides try to run the ball on you all the time?
Yeah, the Panthers was one of the teams I was going to suggest. I don't know if this Michael Jackson guy is any good, Lawrence, but I mean, I probably like a 95% chance that Jair is probably better. So I think that would be a good, 1B, maybe just a number 2 guy to J.C. Horn, who's probably a top 3 corner in the league. Of course, the Bengals could use him right now. I mean, we could just use the help at corner, no matter who it is, honestly. Why did the screen stop? No matter who the corner is, we got some decent corners, but no one's like a solid like number 1 option. If you look at the depth chart right here, probably the best guy is Cam Taylor-Britt, CTB, but he's either on one game or off the next. Like, it's too much of a roller coaster with him. And Dax Hill coming off an injury last year, he was playing well from the move from safety to that nickelback slot corner. DJ Turner, he's been up and down as well, but he was trending more up. And then Josh Newton, who got some good playing time when Turner got hurt, coming to his second year, he should see some improvement. But when you look at the rest of the guys, it's not that one guy that stands out. So if we could just have one guy that kind of stands out and makes other opposing team offenses like nervous, I think that would give us a lot of confidence. Like, okay, that side of the field we know that's like 90% locked up. We ain't got to worry about that. Now we can just like kind of shift the focus to the other side of the field. I think that's what the Bengals need, and they're one of the few teams with a lot of cap space. I think now with the cap savings, they're like 30 plus million, so they definitely can make a decent offer. Maybe they won't be the biggest offer, but they will make a decent offer. And then I want to throw in the Commanders. I think the Commanders could also use some defensive back help, just because last year they were terrible. And I don't think they really drafted help. I think they drafted a safety, but I don't think other than that, I don't think they really got help in the defensive backfield. What do you think about the Commanders?
I think the Commanders would be looking for a strong need in that department. I don't think the Commanders personally have done anything of any sort of big change or motion to, I would really say, convince us that their secondary has gotten better. And any piece that you can add to your secondary to make it better, I feel like if you're the Commanders, like, you can't waste this opportunity to jump on a talent like this. I think Jair literally boosts them quite a bit, because what's his name, Lattimore, is not what he used to be, or was not what he once was.
Yeah, Lattimore is not the same. I think you're right. So they gotta find him some help basically, and then find him like a 1B or like a 2 guy that can help him out if he needs a breather or something. Moving on, let's go to the UFC 316. I think you watch a lot of this, Lawrence. Do you just want to go down the card? Tell us your thoughts.
I mean, just going down the card, from where I started focusing in on, I mean, I pretty much watched every fight. I'm trying to think of any fights that I didn't watch. The Marab submitting O'Malley, I kind of saw it coming. Unfortunately,
I think we lost Lawrence for a little bit.
He just didn't look well prepared. The fact that he didn't enter with Superstar
on UFC 316. I watched all the main event. I did not catch any of the prelims because, oddly enough, this is like
Patchy
the second
Mix
or third.
Was a complete disappointment.
This is the second or third
else had that coming,
time that TKO has had a WWE pay-per-view event and a UFC pay-per-view event on the same day, same weekend.
Because I think a lot of the WWE
fans and UFC fans kind of overlap. So
they're kind of splitting their audience.
They're kind of splitting their audience, which is kind of stupid. But I think they're kind of rectifying that with the next 317. I think is a week before the next WWE pay-per-view event.
Hopefully that fixes some of this.
Hopefully that fixes some of this. So I telling everyone
Only
on
watch the
side.
main event because
Only watch the main event because the prelims
were
were on during the same time as Money in the Bank.
True. This is very true. They would do much better without having one.
Do you want to go down the card? I think the screen share is working.
Can you hear
now.
me?
I think we lost him again, guys. Oh, he's back.
All right, can you hear
You
me
back?
now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what was wrong. It just wouldn't let me talk anymore. So Merab was destined to beat up O'Malley as soon as O'Malley walked out to glad to be American, real proud to be American. Should have walked out the superstar. He'd been way more in the game. Kayla Henderson is the real deal. She'll probably be beating up women for a while. She just absolutely dominated Pinion. Like, it wasn't even that good of a fight. Joe Piver, a little bit disappointing, but I guess the fact that Kelvin Gastelum has never been knocked out before really was put on display. But Mans, all he did almost the whole fight was just reach his left hand out and just try to grab Gastelum and then get pieced up. He never put any more than one or two punches together. He was always trying to throw a haymaker every time. Pretty disappointing. Patchy Mix, absolute biggest disappointment. Killed my parlay. This guy is severely a bum. I should have trusted my gut and taken Batista. But, he was supposed to be this next big thing out of Bellator. And then we always do what we always do. We always think Bellator might be something good, and it's always ass. Next, Kevin Holland, absolute domination and beatdown of Luque. The fact that he called out Kobe Covington immediately after, hell yeah. I would love to watch someone trash talk Kobe Covington the whole time in the ring. I thought my parlay was done with Josh Van, but he did get the knockout with like 30 seconds left in the fight. So props to him and actually trying to keep my parlay open. It really was helpful. I thought I had hope until Patchy Mix cement feet came on the screen. Did not watch Ozmat's fight versus Rubio, whatever this is. I did not watch this one. Wando Acosta. I live betted him in the first. I think it was like the first round, the first 30 seconds. I was just like watching them like walk up and walk at each other and stuff, and I was like, he just looks, I would say, more. Let's just say, jubilant. Like, he was just walking with more energy. He had like a pep in his step. The other guy looked like the weight cut was like really rough for him. So I actually did like betting that $15 I put on him early. It could have came out to something Patchy Mix wasn't bummed, but it is what it is.
Fair enough. Yeah, Merab dominated Sean. It wasn't even close. Like the first fight, the first fight wasn't close, but at least the first fight, it was just a lot of him holding him on the cage and just sitting on him. This time, Merab really took it to him, punching the hell out of him, took him to the ground, and was still kind of punching and kneeing him, and then got the sub. I think got the first submission. Is that his first submission victory? I think.
I would have thought he would have one before that.
Yeah, I think it was his first, either his first or second. And then Kayla, she's a beast. She was going to snap homegirl's arm if she didn't tap out. I felt bad, man. But she dominated. People don't like her, including myself, but you got to give it to her. She's a beast, man. She is a beast. Do you really think she's going to fight Amanda Nunes? Like, you really think that's her next fight?
Yeah, I think that's where she needs to go. She's either the real deal or not. That's what it comes down to. If you beat Amanda Nunes, you're the real deal. Like, you're like one of the baddest women to walk. She does have that career before the UFC in judo where it has made her very tough opponent.
Yeah, she's one tough girl. I give you that. Moving on, Money in the Bank. I know you didn't really watch Money in the Bank, Lawrence, because it was going on at the same time, but just a couple highlights for myself. The women's, I did not expect Naomi to win. I was banking all my money on Rhea to win for the simple fact that if she gets the Money in the Bank, she can cash in on Io or Liv, and she kind of has like story crumbles with either. So I was kind of like, it makes the most sense for her to win, but Triple H kind of pulled a fast one on us, let Naomi win, which makes sense. Kind of going full circle with her whole heel turn after she, went on that little tag team spree with Bianca, and then beat the hell out of Jade, and her and Jade have this little feud going on right now. So I'm not mad at it. Do you have any thoughts of the little recap I just gave for the women's side?
I mean, personally, I like that Naomi won just because I know her name better. She's part of the Funkadactyls. But other than that, I'd like to see where Naomi goes because it kind of just puts her right back at the top of the podium.
Yeah, she's gonna be near the top of the card. Carrying that briefcase around, always tempted to cash it in. This random match, Dominic and Dirty Dom versus the AAA guy, Octagon Jr. It was kind of like a throwaway match. I think it was just there to kind of lengthen the whole Money in the Bank. So I don't think they really had enough content for the whole. I think it was 3 hours. Went from 7 to 10. So I think that was just like kind of a throw-in match. Becky Lynch. It made sense why Becky Lynch won, because Lyra had the title for almost half a year, and so it made sense. Especially makes sense to be Becky to be the second women's intercontinental champ. But I mean, Becky is, I don't know, she's more than a mid card. She's more than just an IC champion. Like, she needs to be back in the mix for the women's WWE championship. But maybe this is like a stepping stone. Any thoughts?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but she had also been gone for so long. It was nice to see someone else get an opportunity. And now she's kind of like right back in there as main focus on me, kind of, sort of.
Yeah, I get that. On the men's side, Seth freaking Rollins wins the men's Money in the Bank after, Big Brunson Reed and the dog, Big Dog. What's his name? Why am I blanking on his name? God damn it. Scott Steiner's nephew. I'm gonna look so bad. But they come out and they start taking care of business, and then Jacob Fatu and the other guy, I think Justin something, right? They come out and they beat them down, and then Solo's climbing the ladder, and then Jacob stops him, and then he's like, "I hate you," and then proceeds to beat the shit out of Solo. So a little turn of events in the new bloodline. Basically, Solo's by himself now. Jacob's free to do whatever he wants, not really collabing with Solo anymore. But yeah, Seth wins. I mean, it makes sense. He's on this run. It's gonna eventually lead to him cashing in on John Cena, or trying to at least. Your thoughts on that? On all that?
I'm okay with he cashes in on John Cena and takes it. That would actually be ideal.
Yeah. And then last up, we got the tag match. John Cena, Logan Paul, Cody, and Jey Uso. Jey was getting the hell beat out of him for the longest time. I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of that. We really didn't see a lot of Cody wrestling, but I mean, the match itself was good. Little like disagreements going on with John and Logan. They hitting moves on each other when either Jey or Cody moves out the way. It was a good match, and then the big shocker, R-Truth comes out of nowhere, saves the day, beats the hell out of John Cena, and then Cody goes for the pin. How do we feel about Truth being back? Triple H said it was all in the books. It was all planned, all this other bullshit. Of course it wasn't. Even Cody came out, I think in the press conference a couple like an hour later and said, "Hey, it's the fans' responsibility to let the WWE know who they want, who they don't want." So they basically crumbled on the pressure and then worked the deal out with R-Truth. So how do you feel about R-Truth being back for one last?
I love the R-Truth back because I never had any problem or felt the need to have R-Truth leave. So it's nice to have him back immediately. But honestly, I think people are right, and I think people are like way too crazy to like jump all over the UFC, or sorry, not the WWE, for letting him, like, I'm not gonna say walk, but like leave.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, okay, you can be mad, but the moment they realized they made a mistake, what did they do? They brought him back, and they did what the people just begged and pleaded for. I mean, that's what you do as a boss, like, someone with power. Like, oh man, they really didn't like that we got rid of R-Truth. Like, they love him. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
let's bring him back. Like, they wasted no time to make a deal to bring him back. They know what to do to keep. Well, Triple H knows what to do to keep his franchise running.
Yeah, apparently, Truth dodged Triple H's calls for the most part for most of the week, and then it took Nick Khan. I think he's like the president of TKO. Took him personally reaching out to Truth and working out a deal. So Truth's gonna be on for one last run. We don't know how long this new contract is gonna last, but I guess we just gotta enjoy it while we can. With who knows how long he's gonna stay with the WWE after this new contract. Money Bank was good though all around. Let's see what kind of storylines come out next. Then last up, games 1 and 2. How are we feeling? Game 1. I told you, so the Pacers haven't lost a game 1 yet. And they come back. I think they were down what? They were down 20, at least 20 at one point. Came back. Tyrese made that mid-range shot. That was the only point that the Thunder trailed all night, was after Tyrese made that shot. Pacers go on to win, and then game 2, Thunder haven't lost back-to-back games since like 2024. So they come back and then beat the hell out of them. What was it, last night? So how do we feel after games 1 and 2? Are the Thunder going to keep beating the hell out of them, Lawrence, or do you think Indiana has one or two more games like game 1?
I think the Thunder still beat the hell out of them. I think Indiana got their game 1, but I think the Thunder have kind of understood what they need to do to win this series. I wouldn't say to the point where it's a lock and they're guaranteed, but I mean, let's face it, they know what they're doing, and they know how to win. They had like the best spread record of all time, and then like the second game, the odds makers had them at 11-point favorites. It's like, you just watch Indiana win game 1, but then you're still going to come back and give them 11 points favorites, and then they're, I think, like 5-point favorites against Indiana in Indiana. I mean, the odds makers are like telling us straight to our faces, Thunder are better. Indiana got what they do. They got their game 1. Now, things will happen in the way they're supposed to happen, and a beatdown might ensue.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I also pointed out last episode, in all the game 3s, I'm like fairly certain Indiana has lost as well. So I would take that 5.5 and run. I'd probably even boost it up. I think this is a double-digit loss. Like you said, the odds makers are clearly telling you. I think they're being pretty generous with the 5.5. It probably should be closer to like 7.5 or 8.5. Because I think the Thunder are going to beat them again, double digits. And then game 4, the Thunder still have one more shoot themselves in the foot game. I think that might be game 4 or game 5. We'll see, but they still got one more of those games left. Because they're just young. Like, I think the average age is 25. Like, they're gonna lose focus, let off the gas again, and then the Pacers will make some miracle bullshit happen again. So, like I said, I got this going 6 games. So, hope most likely game 4, game 5, the Thunder will kind of slip up and let the Pacers win a game. But biggest thing I want to talk about is just like Tyrese not being really aggressive. Like, he only had like 5 points or something. Well, he had 3 points going into half, and then I think he only had like 5 going into the fourth, because he scored 12 in the fourth quarter of the last game. So, like, does he just have to change his approach to these games, Lawrence, and just come out and focus more on scoring and then assisting when it needs to happen? Or do you think he just needs to keep going the course and hopefully something good happens?
I don't think he's wrong for trying to have his team do what they do all season. However, I think the main problem is sometimes his team just kind of goes dark, and maybe he's wanting, what is it, Siakam to do a little bit extra, since he won Finals MVP for the Eastern Conference. Even though he thought he was going to win, even though Hallie was very determined. Like I said, I think Halliburton just needs to be a little bit more of the shoot first. You guys are going to play make off me. Because sometimes they don't even have to focus on Hallie scoring because they just have to focus on where he's going to pass it.
Yeah, exactly. They're clogging the passing lanes. They're clogging the driving lanes, honestly. Like, if he gets by one person, the second guy is right there, and then you have, Chet or Big Hartenstein or whoever's playing the 5 or Jalen Williams, whoever's playing the 5 is right there in the paint to kind of swat it away and challenge him at the rim. So, yeah, they're focusing heavily on Hallie. It's just up to the others, and maybe because they're at home, the others will play well. Maybe you'll get another crazy Nimhard game where he hits like 5-6 threes, but I don't really see it happening. That's all I had, Lawrence. Anything else before we head on out? Game 3 is on Wednesday. Anything else?
Nope. Florida Panthers to win your NHL title. Back-to-back champs.
You heard it. Florida Panthers. Back-to-back Stanley Cup champs is what Lawrence has. I don't have nothing else on that front, so we will head on out. MTL Sports episode 165. Thank you guys for watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, all that good stuff, and we will see you later this week. Peace.